Here we are. Welcome to Reclaim. I'm so excited for tonight. I'm just going to wait for some people to come on. I know that there's over 30 people signed up from all over, and some of them will be having to watch the replay because they're sleeping right now. But I think it's so awesome that we can all be together. During the past year, I've gotten really used to doing so much of my life via Zoom, via live. And if you are on, say hi, say who you are, where you're from. So welcome to Reclaim. I'm so glad you are here. This is a safe spot for you. I don't know what kind of day you've had today, if you've had a crazy day. I also want to make sure you guys can hear me. Can you hear me? Because I've had issues with the sound on this thing. This computer is old, so let me know if you can hear me. Because I guess if you can't hear me, then I'm really talking to myself. But I don't know. Hi, Amy. Hi, Emily. Hi, Catherine. Hello, Catherine. Welcome. So good to see you guys tonight. I'm gonna wait for some more people to come in. How was your day today? Why are you here? Thank you. My sound is working. Thank you, Emily. What kind of day did you have today? So excited that you guys are here. All right. So, before we get started, I'm going to remind everyone about the huge giveaway happening at the end. And I have all your names here. So to remind everyone, if you invited a friend, you were entered into win a free month of coaching from me, which is huge. And this was the only thing I could find that had a clear so you guys could see the names. There's been 3 or 4 people, and I want to make sure I have the names right. Mua, I hope you are here. I've got you in there. I've got Patricia. I've got Amy. And if I missed you, let me know. The thing is, though, is that some of you guys wrote, yes, you're bringing a friend, but your friend actually didn't sign up. So if your friend is here, comment in, and I will put your name in the glass for at the end for training for the huge giveaway of free coaching with me for a whole month. That's 4 one-to-one sessions with me, which is pretty huge, guys. And there's so much transformation that can happen one-on-one with a coach. That is me. So I am super excited to be here to talk about so many things, but I'm gonna bring you on a journey. And some of you guys might be new to this. Some of you guys might be, what does a life coach actually do? I have my master's in life coaching, and I received that a few years ago before life coaching kind of broke Instagram. I don't know if you guys scroll through Instagram. Life coaching is somewhat everywhere, and it's awesome because personal growth, self-development, expanding your life, we all deserve that. We all deserve to wake up and love the life that we are in. So that is what I get to do, and I love what I get to do. So today you get a taste of it. I love giving away free workshops. This is going to be a thing, and we're just going to dig into it. So one of the things I want to say is that there were 35 women that signed up for this tonight. And I want to say, whatever kind of day you had, whoever you're comparing yourself to, let's just leave that at the door. This is a place for you to feel seen, heard, and fully expressed. And let me tell you, when we compare ourselves to other women, whether they're our friends, a family member, or someone we don't know, we start devaluing who we are subconsciously. So let's not do that tonight. You are here, and I'm so excited that you are here. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about me and why I'm on this journey and why I want to talk to you about something very specific tonight. A few years ago, actually just 2.5 years ago, I was sitting in school to become a pastor. And I genuinely wanted to be there. I was so excited. But up until this point, I didn't realize a lot of things. I didn't realize that I had been trying to fulfill other people's roles for me. I didn't know that I was a people pleaser. And was kind of outsourcing my worst, trying to find validation from so many other people rather than knowing who I was. But slowly, as I started to integrate into that process and learn, I started asking myself, am I actually supposed to be here? And I was freaking out inside. And I was sitting in this class and I was closing my eyes. I wasn't paying attention, and I was closing my eyes and I was like picturing an eagle flying. And I said to myself, I want to be that eagle. I want to be outdoors. I want to be flying free. And the person sitting next to me, we had a really good friendship. She leans over to me and she's like, Sarah. And at first I was really annoyed because like I was in a process of trying to figure myself out. And she's like, I think God wants to tell me something. I think God wants me to tell you something. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I think he wants me to tell you that you have wings, that you haven't soared yet. And at that moment, I started crying and I ran out of the room. And that was the first time I felt something in a really, really long time that wasn't anxiety, that wasn't stress. And I was letting things finally be released. If you also know me well, which some of you don't, which is why I'm telling you a little bit about me, is I held everything inside. I would actually have like a huge cry fest every single year. It was like clockwork. I would hold everything in and then something would tip me over the edge and I would just burst into tears. And then I would lock myself in my bathroom for hours and it was not good. And I didn't know how to express myself. And then I would dry my eyes and go into another year of holding everything in. So who downloaded the workbook before you signed in today? Can you let me know? I hope you guys got it. There was one person that said she couldn't open it, so that's why I put it on the Facebook group. Anyone is welcome to have that. It's more so for you to bring with you after tonight, so you keep working on yourself and asking yourself questions. But if you downloaded the workbook, let me know. If you want it, let me know. But I wanted to ask, do you guys know what shame is? Comment to me, what is shame? Do you know what shame is? I'm going to tell you what it is, but I'm just curious if you guys know what shame is. Because up until that point in my life, I had no idea I was living in shame. It was masked. I was so unaware, and I had no idea. I was stuck. I was lost. Okay, I'm going to tell you some secrets about shame, and I want you to just reflect and ask yourself, where do I feel it? Where is it showing up? Have I had this in my life? Shame gives us a script, and it's usually 3 different lies that shame tells us. 1, I am not good enough. 2, I am bad. There's something wrong with me. And 3, I'm alone. No one understands what I'm going through. No one else is suffering. I can't tell anyone about it. I have to do this alone. I can tell you that I've felt all 3 multiple occasions. And it really puts a limit on what we can do with our lives. And it really holds us back from living fulfilled, having those values and boundaries, and really stepping into who we are, stepping into our purpose. Because when we live with shame, we're outsourcing our worth to cover up all the things we haven't dealt with yet, and that holds us back. Shame can lead to the stress and anxiety that I was feeling, but also addiction, people-pleasing, emptiness, withdrawing from your friends, feeling lonely, feeling like your life is out of control, eating disorders, depression, sadness, and honestly, the list goes on. When shame goes up, our self-confidence goes down. And I wanted to also tell you guys that because I was unaware, I want to give you some statistics, is that 95% of the time we are operating in the subconscious and the unknown. We were on autopilot, and we sometimes will go into a new day But we will wake up in our past and repeat the same patterns and habits that have been in us for so long into the new day. Does that make sense? So when I was completely just tears in my eyes, didn't know what to do next, I actually sat down with a life coach. And I sat down in her chair, and I'm bursting crying, and I'm just saying, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life. And she said to me, well, Sarah, what do you want your life to look like? And I can tell you, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that response from her. I was expecting criticism. I was expecting to be judged for feeling that way, because that's how I treated myself. I had never, ever given myself permission to ask what I truly wanted. And so it's like the floodgates opened and the door opened wide. And I realized for the first time that I was the one that got to decide when to open the door and who I wanted to be. So if you're familiar with me on Instagram, you know that I've created the Soul Talk method. And so many of the people inside of it, transformation, healing is happening. And I'm so excited to walk and guide these people along this wonderful, wonderful journey. I say it's the best journey you could ever be on. But before they really start the journey, a lot of them will say, I feel like I've lost myself. I feel like I've lost myself. That's how I was feeling. And I wonder if anyone feels that as well. A lot of people struggle with people pleasing, and they can identify maybe that they people please, that they want to make other people happy and they don't know how to put themselves first without the guilt. But people pleasing is linked to shame. The two are intertwined. And I'm here to say you haven't lost yourself. That's the good news. It's just sometimes we've forgotten who we are. Something has happened to us. Nothing is wrong with us. Something happened to us. When I was 4 years old, some things happened to me. Traumatic things happened to me. And I carried that weight and that guilt and that shame into my adulthood. And some of us have had really good families. Some of us have had really warm connections with our parents. But something happened to us at school. Something happened to us with a spouse. Or we were in a really toxic relationship and something happened to us. Or it was just our teacher telling us we weren't good enough. We've all have a shame script. And until we uncover what that is, it'll be hard for us to live in our purpose. Your purpose is inside of you, and you bring it with you wherever you go. That's why it's totally possible to wake up and love your life, because your purpose is who you are, not what you do. You belong before you do anything. And I had it backwards. Let me tell you, I was living the other way. I was doing things in order to fit in, but I felt like I was fitting in nowhere. I felt like I belonged nowhere. And honestly, guys, like, I had a good life. I had a privileged life. I look back and I think of all the things I got to do, but I was full of anxiety, full of stress, and I was chasing approval. And I did not know how to find a way out of that. I didn't think it was possible. I remember when I didn't leave my house for 2 or 3 months because I was so full of shame. I was actually diagnosed with a liver condition, and I thought to myself, no one else is going through this. I have to do this alone. I'm not going to tell anyone. So I barely saw anyone for 2 or 3 months. And I thought it would be like there's no way out of this. This is just my life. But let me tell you, I also know what it's like to go to bed with peace and to wake up with peace. I remember the first night I did that, and honestly, I remember laying there being like, wow, this is what it's like to go to bed without anxiety. This is what it's like to go to bed without my heart beating out of my chest. And it's possible. It's possible to live fulfilled. So in the workbook that I gave you guys, it asks, what is your shame script? And honestly, you might not know right now. It takes time. It takes time to realize what happened to you. But I want you to take that workbook and I want you to reflect in it. And I want you to write some things down. And I want you to ask, how did that situation make you feel? Life is an emotion. We're meant to feel things. And as a person, as a woman that believed the lie and the manipulation that I can't feel my emotions, I have to be happy all the time, to someone now, I feel so much and I know how to regulate my emotions. I want you to ask yourself how it feels. I also put in the workbook a whole bunch of notes on the importance of journaling. There's so much that could be going through your head while you're driving your car, while you're in a stressful meeting at work, when you're stressful at home. And when you take the time to write it out, there's this beautiful connection that happens from your mind to your hand. And then if you want to take it one step further, speak it out loud. Because when you speak it out loud, it puts it in a whole different perspective. When I started saying out loud some of the twisted lies and of fear that were in my head and I spoke them out loud to my life coach, I was just like, that sounds ridiculous. I would never say that about someone else. I would never say that to someone else. Yet I was saying all these lies to myself and I was believing them. And as soon as we realize that shame is a liar and that script we've been believing is a liar, we don't have to let it control us anymore. And that's what I want for you guys. So you can again harness your intention to live by your values, to live by your truths, to live by your boundaries. What does intentionality mean to you? Intentionality to me means I'm intentional to show up to myself and to others. And for the people pleasers who are watching, when you learn to connect with yourself in this way, you then are able to love others deeply and connect with them without needing their approval and without trying to make them happy. You serve them, you can help them, but not from needing your own validation. And my issue that I realized was that I didn't know how to love myself. I grew up in the church. I grew up believing that God's love is unconditional, but I put so many expectations and conditions on myself. And years ago, I learned how to harness what authentic love was, but I still to this day have written on my mirror, I am safe to be me. I am safe to be me. Because I used to wake up with a pit in my stomach, run to the mirror to check out all my imperfections. I'm being really vulnerable with you guys here. I'm telling you guys a lot of secrets. And I'm really hoping you guys know that this is a safe spot. How do you love yourself? How do you speak to yourself? A lot of you guys, when I did the poll on my Instagram, said that shame was self-judgment, and it is. We learn it's easier to judge ourselves than to heal from it. Also, I'm a believer that nothing is wasted in this life. It can be really easy to blame someone, to hold resentment, to have regrets, but that just holds us back more. And when you take responsibility, when you take ownership of your life, you let the blame go, you let the resentment go, and there's a process for that. That does not happen overnight, but you do it not to forget what someone else maybe did to you, but so that you can be free. I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of resentment. And I want to ask you guys, are you fearful of, maybe some of you are fearful of stepping out. Maybe you're fearful of, sorry guys, I just want to see the comments there. Good. Maybe you're fearful of failing. But you're in the land of possibilities. And a lot of us are living thinking it's impossible to get there. But you're in the land of possibilities. I had someone when I was in grade 12, two doctors tell me I would never make it through university because I wasn't smart enough. I didn't have the good grades. School was hard for me. I don't learn like most kids learn. But I'll let you know that in grade 12, I went from getting 40% to getting 90s. And I worked my butt off. And I have my master's. And 3 months ago, I had my university call me wondering if I want to do my doctorate. And I just remember sitting back going, wow. And I get chills as I say this, because there's not one way to do life. There's not one way to do life. Sometimes our paths are supposed to look different, and that's why we can't compare ourselves to each other, especially as women. If you look back in history when our men were off at war, we would raise our children together. If a woman was sick, we would take on her chores and maintain the house for her. We did things together. We weren't concerned about our body differences or what she had and what I didn't have. Our culture and society has shaped us and has formed us and conditioned us to stay in our shame. Go buy the hair products. Go put on the makeup. And I'm saying, I did my hair and makeup tonight because it makes me feel extra, but that's an overflow because my worth comes inside me. But our culture, it conditions us till we're young. I worked at a school for 2 years, and I could not believe how comparison and body image issues were happening in my 3 and 4-year-old students. The amount of times I had to talk to them about not comparing themselves, but to appreciating who they are was almost a daily thing. And it broke my heart because it's starting at such an earlier age. Think back to when you were young. When did jealousy and when did you start comparing yourself to others? When did you start feeling like you weren't good enough, you weren't pretty enough? Think back to that. And you know what? At that young of age, you probably couldn't have named your emotion, but we all felt it. And we all have memories of when someone hurt us. Or maybe we hurt someone else to make ourselves feel good. What is your shame script? What I stand for and what I believe that you are capable of is entering the healing journey, the self-discovery journey, where you learn to become shame resilient. Because what shame turns into when you heal and when you overcome it is it turns into your superpower, because nothing is wasted. Coming out of hiding requires you to be who you are. Coming out of hiding requires you to be who you are. And I was hiding. And I wonder if maybe you are hiding. I want to ask you the question that changed my life. And that is, what do you want your life to look like? What do you want your life to feel like? And some of you are parents in here. Some of you just maybe have gotten married. Some of you might be single, but you're working on your degree, or you have a really good job. I'm not asking you to abandon those things. I'm not asking you to move across the country. I'm asking you, how do you want to show up to your family? How do you want to wake up in the morning? How do you want to invest in yourself so that you can be yourself when you're around those other people? It's a transformed life. All right, guys. You also know me. You know that I go by like a planned order here, and actually I'm not tonight because I don't let a controlling plan dictate my life anymore. It's good to have a plan, but it's good to be open to change. It's good to be interrupted. It's good to be open to a different perspective. So, a lot of us cause our own suffering because we can't identify our emotions. And another lie that we can believe is we all have the same brain, you just need to work harder. Or we all have the same brain, you just need to work on your mindset. And that's not true. When you live in shame, you're living with fear in your mind dictating who you are. Do you trust yourself? I used to think that faith and trust were outside of me. But that causes us to outsource our worth again. And guys, when I started to trust my intuition, when I started to identify my emotions and learn how to regulate them, I started to know that it's not just about your mindset. When I learned to trust myself, my faith grew. I'm not here to blame anyone. I'm not here to blame religion, and I'm not here to force religion on you. I'm here to help you discover who you are and what's your truth. What do you want to reclaim tonight? What do you want to reclaim tonight? I want you to reclaim who you are, what your story is. And a lot of us walk into rooms and we don't know how to be who we are, and we don't know how to speak up for ourselves because we haven't learned how to tell our true story to ourselves. It starts with you first. Who you are is what's inside of you, not what you go to. You won't find it in any of the temporary fixes that our culture loves to tell us that we need. You'll enjoy them more. Guys, when I eat a burger, it's like I'm making love to the burger. When I do my hair and makeup, it's meditation time. And I get to look in the mirror and be like, wow, I get to do something new today. I'm so excited for the day. You get to enjoy life so much more because you've worked on yourself. And when you walk into a room, you're able to know, okay, these people might have different opinions than me. They might have different beliefs than me, but they're not going to change who I am because I know I belong. I don't have to fit in to the room that I'm in. I belong because I know how to speak to myself first. So how do you speak to yourself? How do you tell your story to yourself? When you wake up in the morning, how do you feel? What's the first thing that runs through your head? A lot of us wake up in the past. What I believe from neuroscience, from psychology, and from being a believer is that we are meant to live in the future. Every day is a new day. But a lot of us wake up in the past. And we wake up with a past memory or a past thought that keeps us in the shame cycle. In the workbook, there is as well and intentionality. I have issues talking today. About how to set your mind for the morning. And tomorrow, I would love for you to have a new habit of, I know some of you have kids, but just maybe lying in bed for a few minutes and asking yourself, what can I handle? What do I want my day to look like today? What do I need to do today? This is in the workbook, by the way, so you can take this with you. What do I need today? What can I handle today? And say no to something that you normally would say yes to make someone else happy. Can you do that? It's a great way to start. It's a great way to start to talk to yourself in a healthy way, to build the resilience, and to know what your intuition is above the fear and the ego going on in your head. And I want to say, guys, like, shame and all that we're talking about, I'm not trying to make it sound like a bad thing, because really it kept you in survival mode. It kept you here. I thank my body that it's brought me this far. But because I was so stressed, because I was so anxious, it's because I was living in survival mode. I wasn't living fully. And you're here to live fully alive, fully fulfilled, waking up with fulfillment regardless of what is going on around you, regardless of the bills you have to pay, regardless if you have your job that you want yet or not, regardless if your kids are jumping on your bed and you don't know how you're going to have enough energy to get through the next day. I want you to be fulfilled over being happy. Being happy is fleeting. And talking about emotions, you're allowed to feel more than one thing at a time. There was a song we used to sing, and it was "Be happy all the time." And what did that teach me? That taught me, oh, I have to be happy all the time. And I put on a smile. I was really good at faking it, really good at being in the performance mode. I'm not in performance mode anymore. I don't force, I don't rush. And when we are living in faith and in trust, I want to tell you guys one unbelievable truth. I guess I shouldn't say that. I guess I need to say it is a truth that you need to hold on to, and that is anything in your life does not need to be forced. It does not need to be stressful. When something is meant to happen, it will happen. Yes, be committed to who you are. Yes, be committed to your purpose. Yes, work hard, but you do not need to force. I thought I was living by faith. I thought I was living in trust, but I was living in control. And what I tell a lot of people is trust the process. Don't control the outcome. Have your goals, have your dreams, have your visions, and keep those in your mind. But again, don't be afraid for them to change. Don't be afraid for them to be interrupted. Before I entered the land of possibilities and self-discovery and really allowing myself to be who I am, it was like I saw the world through a black and white lens, and there was pieces of shattered glass, and I could not see clearly. And today it's like I've pounded away that glass and I've broken it free, and I see the vibrant color, and I hear the music, and I see the beautiful people, and I have time to sit with the beautiful people. I have time to sit on my back deck and just enjoy the company of my neighbors. And let me tell you, we have a lot not in common, but they're beautiful, and I'll sit with them and I'll learn something from them. Stress and anxiety is part of life. I still feel stressed, but I know what to do with it, and it doesn't linger for days and weeks and weeks and weeks like it used to. And it doesn't have to for you either. So guys, do you have any questions for your workbook? I don't want you to leave here confused. I want you to go and have some value from tonight. to know that you get to decide how you want to live. You get to decide how you want to answer, how you want your life to be. Only you can decide. Your parents can't decide. Your spouse cannot decide. The friend that keeps telling you what to do cannot decide. Maybe you're letting them decide. You get to decide. So, I want to change the shame script. I want to change the shame script for you. You have value. You have purpose because it comes from inside of you. And I want you to break the false fear belief system of people are going to reject you. You have to stay in the fear of rejection. You have to stay in the fear of guilt. You are allowed to be seen, heard, and fully expressed. Actually, those are the 3 basic needs that we have as being humans, is being seen, being heard, being fully expressed. And I want you to say hello to knowing who you are, knowing you are loved and you can love yourself first so you can love others more deeply, and knowing how to speak up for yourself. You won't find your identity in being busy. I did that for a long time too. Found my identity in being busy. Your identity is in who you are. And you haven't lost her. You haven't lost him if there's some men watching. Again, when your shame goes up, your self-confidence goes down. What if your confidence didn't have to go down? What if you didn't have to let shame control you? Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't it be amazing to wake up and know you have a purpose? Guys, I'm going to be doing the draw in about maybe 5-10 minutes, and I want to know if someone is on here that has brought a friend that did not normally sign up. I have Amy, I have Mua, I have Patricia, and I'm blanking. I have one more person in there. Can you please tell me in the comments if I'm missing anyone? Can you please let me know if you are here, if I just mentioned your name? Okay. When you guys are working on the notebook, the workbook, I want you to really ask yourself, where are you feeling shame? How does it make you feel? And in the journal notes, I may have wrote this in there, that it's really easy to want to control the process of journaling. But I want you to remember that it's supposed to be messy, it's supposed to be chaotic. There's not supposed to be an order when you're journaling all this out. It's meant to just allow yourself to release and allow yourself to process. And you guys can message me if you've got any questions, if you need any clarification after this, because I'm here to help you and I'm here to help guide and support you. So I'm going to do the draw. I'm wondering if anyone has any questions before I do the draw. I'm excited. I'm excited to work with someone for a month. It's going to be great. I don't know why, guys, but I have insanely dry lips. Usually this happens in the winter. It's like happening now, and it is July. Okay. Aw, Jasmine. So good to see you. So glad you're here, girl. I did not know you were just from Ottawa. You're so close. I'm in Hamilton. That is awesome. So cool. So glad you're here. Again, if you've missed any of this, this will be on my page where you can replay it as many times as you need to. And again, ask me any questions if you need clarification. Okay, so this is the draw. Look at this cup, it's plastic. If you know me, you know I should not have glass because it will probably break. So I'm going to be doing the draw for the month of free coaching one-to-one with me. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about what that looks like. So working one-on-one with me, I love working one-on-one with clients as opposed to group coaching. There's a lot of group coaching programs out there and some people love it, but the transformation piece is 10 times more effective when you're able to work one-on-one with a coach. And I love giving that to people. And inside the Soul Talk method, which is the program I've developed, it's 4 months with me where we have one-on-one weekly calls every single week. You get to ask me any type of questions throughout the week because you have unlimited access to me through text message and voice memo. So you get extra support and guidance. You get a workbook, which is amazing, as well as videos and other recordings to help you grow and change. And that is still open. If you would like to be a part of that, if you would like to get on a free one-to-one call after this with me, I would love to get to know you, to understand where you're at, to see if I can help you, and to also just give you some tips of where you can grow right now. What is your current situation? What are you currently struggling with, and what is it costing you? If you keep doing what you're doing today, what is it costing you? Not making a change will cost you. It cost me for a long, long time. And I'm so happy that I have a proven system where I'm seeing transformation happen and I'm seeing growth happen. And your story is going to look so different than mine. And it's supposed to. And I want you to unleash it. I want you to open the door into the land of possibilities. I want you to wake up and feel fulfilled. You get to decide. As well as, if you would like to work with me, or if you would like to work with me, or you have any questions, and you end up signing up for the Soul Talk method, and you were on this workshop, I'm going to give you 2 additional sessions on top of the 4 months completely free. So that is for you. That is how much I believe in this program and the work you get to do with me inside of it. So on that note, I am going to do the draw, and I am really, really excited. I wish we could do some like pump up music to this, but like, again, we're not in the same room. And I'm going to start teaching workshops in a studio with people face to face. And I'm so, so, so excited because then I will probably do a dance with those people. So I hope there's a dance going on in your heart and soul. And I want you to leave feeling good. I want you to leave this space knowing that you belong, even if you don't believe it yet. There's some people who have said to me that I've worked with that have said, Sarah, you say that I have a purpose. You say I belong, but I don't believe it. That's normal. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling, I don't know how to get through this, that is normal. That is why, again, I've developed the Soul Talk method so you don't have to do it alone. So you can have a guide to keep you accountable and to walk you through it because you're not alone. Do not believe that shame script that you are alone. We're meant to do this we're meant to do this life together without comparison. I'm very thankful for the people that have helped me heal, as well as my support group of girlfriends where there's no comparison in the room when we're together. It's possible for you. And if you don't have anyone, I'm here for you. And if you've got one good friend who keeps you accountable or you just feel safe with, then you've hit the jackpot. I don't tell who I am, or I don't tell my deep, dark secrets to 20, 30 different people. I have my safe group. Okay, guys, I could honestly talk about this stuff forever because there's so much to it. And I hope that I've given you some value and some insight and some tools that you can take with you and you can implement them and be intentional. But I want to still ask you, what are you going to reclaim? What do you want to reclaim? How are you going to change your habits, your lifestyle from this place? You get to decide. And I'm so excited for you. Okay. Okay. I'm really excited. If I call your name, you let me know if you're here. All right. So 1 month free coaching goes to Mua. And I hope I'm saying your name right. Are you here? Can you let me know if you are here? She might not be here. I know it's really, really late where she is, but she did invite her friend Elena. So there you go. If anyone has any other questions for me, my chat box is open. I love to say my door is always open, but can't do that right now because of COVID. So, sorry, I'm just reading the comments. Good. I'm glad you had such a good day, Emily. Here we go. Yeah, Sharon. Sharon, I'm glad you're here. Yeah. Conditioning is very grueling. Yeah, I don't know, guys. For some reason, my comments were not coming up. I am so sorry. I'm going to go through them right now because I want you guys to be heard. We are so used to suffering. And that's the part of the conditioning, guys. And so I have a lot of schooling in psychology. I'm still doing my research, and it can be very overwhelming to explain it all to you. But basically, we're conditioned to really that there's this one way of living life. And our culture, if you just notice when you're scrolling through Instagram, what kind of messages are you getting from the ads? What kind of messages are you getting from the commercials when you watch TV? Be very conscious about it and ask yourself, okay, what is it trying to feed me? And let me tell you guys that whenever someone says something to you, you get to decide if it's your truth. That's something that we do. We read all of these opinions from people, and then we start to change how we think about ourselves. When we need to develop how to discern things. So when we read something, we go, okay, what does that mean for me? Do I believe that? And you are allowed to say, nope, that's not for me. That I don't believe that. That's not my truth. And I have had to do that a lot. That is a really good way to be intentional. That will help Sharon with the anxiety when you learn to decide what you want to believe and not believe. But Sharon, if you want to talk about that, I would love to talk to you about that. Yep, self-care. Yeah, you know what, guys? If you were ever told that you are not smart enough, those are people who do not realize that we all were created to learn differently. We are fearfully and wonderfully made, but how many of us are living that way? I learn differently. That doesn't mean I'm less than anybody else, and that does not mean you're less than anyone else. We all learn differently, and sometimes schools are not set up for that. You can have 3 different kids raised by the same parents who genuinely love each other. You're going to have 3 very different kids. And that's awesome. They're supposed to be different. I love that. And being in a classroom setting, and when I had to teach 26 students at a time, I was overwhelmed. I was like, oh my goodness, there's so many, these kids all learn differently at different stages, at different levels, and in different ways. And that is awesome. You guys are amazing. Okay, Nicole asks, it's hard to express what you are saying when people don't know how to handle emotions. What do you do? That's a really good question. I'm wondering, what do you mean they can't handle emotions? Do you have an example of that? As well as, it's not your responsibility to handle their emotions. If they can't handle your emotions, they probably are not a safe person to talk to, or you need to come about it in a different way of explaining yourself. And maybe ask them, okay, how can you be an emotional support for me? Not everyone can be an emotional support for you, and that's okay. I've had a lot of women I've had a lot of women say to me, whether they're married or they are in a relationship, be like, oh my gosh, my guy is just not listening to me. He does not help me with my emotions. And the thing is that we can be an emotional support for each other, but it comes back to you. You have to learn how to regulate your emotions yourself first, or else it is going to be maybe even hard to explain yourself to someone else. I hope that makes sense. Hey, Patricia. Hey, Amy. Hey, Mua. Awesome. Okay, guys. Okay, Nathaniel is trying to get into the group. Yes, the thing is, guys, is that my coaching is for both men and women, or if you don't, refer to yourself as a man and woman. That's why I say people a lot, because this is for men too. The amount of guys that I talk to who feel like they have to put a tough exterior on the front, who think vulnerability is weak, this is for them too. And we're in this journey together. So, okay, guys. So again, how do you want to wake up tomorrow? How do you want to change your life after today? Ooh, okay. Guys, Mua just said, I'm not responsible for other people's feelings. That feeling of being responsible for other people's feelings can really bring about a lot of shame. 100%, Mua. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's a huge realization that we need to really harness here, is that I'm not responsible for how anyone thinks about themselves or about me. I'm responsible for how I think about myself. And remember what I said earlier, is that when we learn to connect with ourselves this way, we're then able to go and connect with someone with unconditional love in a deeper way than if we're trying to get our validation for our self-worth from others. It comes back to you. Come back to you. And hey, if you're a visual learner like I am, I literally, again, I am safe to be me written on my mirror. If you need to do something like that so you see it every morning, you need like small steps, guys. This is not an overnight thing, which is again why the Soul Talk method is 4 months, because you get to grow and have guidance and have really an amazing accountability throughout it. But these are simple things you can get started today with doing, because I don't want you to go back into old habits, into thinking you're not good enough. I want you guys to start investing in yourself, because you deserve it, and it's not worth it to wait. Speaking from someone who kept pushing down her emotions and thinking she had to keep waiting. Do something now. Take action now. Even if you don't believe it, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you, guide you to a place where you do believe it for yourself. It's not an overnight thing. But tonight, you can stand up from your chair into the land of possibilities. You get to stand up anytime and open that door. Open that door, guys. You get to open it anytime. All right, guys, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for joining me. Mua, I'm going to send you a message when we're done, and we'll get your first session booked. And guys, again, my chat box is always open. Let me know if you have any questions for tonight, or if you want a free 1-hour call with me to see if the Soul Talk method is something that will help you with whatever you are going through right now. Okay, guys, I will talk to you later. Everybody have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon.